Yes, hello and welcome to Richmond's live official weekly podcast Talking Tigers. Well, we've reached the midway point of the season, and after a win against the Suns, the Tiger boys are having a mid-year spell. They've gone out for a little bit of a holiday, but don't worry, the TT team will plough on as always. We're a little bit crook, myself and Greeners, but we've made it into the studio today. Today we're going to talk Hall of Fame and the great Maurice Rioli, who was inducted last week. An inspirational Chief Watch this week. You have to hang around for that. The big fella has been at it again, and of course we'll have all our regular segments, and we're going to chat on the phone to our man Manfred Mann. He'll have all the update on the VFL at the weekend. But boys, thanks for coming in. We're a day late because, Tone, we have been a little bit crook, yourself in particular.
Oh, no. Look, I didn't go down the slide, Richo. So,
no, you didn't.
You know, but that's why we've got the song, obviously, off the top, Cold as Ice by Foreigner. Great song, but
very good song.
You were as cold as ice, weren't you?
It was very, very cold. We'll get on to that in a minute. But I think we've got to start off. If you want to get involved, hashtag Talking Tigers. Give us a call, 9426 4423. We didn't get a call for the quiz last week.
It was too hard.
It was too hard.
It's a bit easier this week.
It's a lot easier this week, so make sure you give us a call when Tone asks the question pretty soon. But I think we've got to start off. What a great night last night, Tone.
Yep.
The great Maurice Rioli inducted into the Australian Football Hall of Fame.
Fantastic, and obviously very, very worthy of that honour. Super player. I had the just great pleasure to watch him through his 6 seasons here, and he's one of the most skillful players I've ever seen, and obviously absolute champion of the Indigenous cause and a real pioneer.
Yeah, he was. He was one of the first Indigenous players to come across to the VFL.
He was, and we probably should thank Mel Brown for getting him here to Richmond too. Because
I didn't know the story. I didn't know Mel was the one.
Yeah, well, Mel had coached him obviously at South Fremantle, and they were pretty close. And Mel's affinity with Richmond too, and convinced him in the end to come across and try his luck out with the Tigers, and it worked out pretty well.
And watching the highlights last night, JB, he looked like Cyril, didn't he? Cyril moves exactly like him.
It's probably one of the unfortunate things about my generation and being born probably a bit too late to see Maurice in action and just having the videos to go by. I guess the thing that is always talked about him is he was a magician and magical and that sort of thing. But does that undervalue probably the work rate that he had to do to get to that level, and especially coming through as a junior boxer as well? He must have been so committed and hard-working.
He was very quiet man, but he had fierce determination to succeed. One of the things, and I wrote a piece yesterday, and I'd spoken to Flea about him before, and I spoke to Michael Roach about him, just his tackling ability. Roachy said, look, he was way ahead of his time in terms of his tackling pressure.
No one really put on that tackle pressure back in those days, did they?
And he was a super tackler. And then Flea would say, well, not only was he a great tackler, but no one could tackle him. His ability to extricate himself out of trouble, dodge and weave and get through packs was just amazing.
One of the things I loved, you rate players how they play in big games. And I didn't realise, but before he won the Norm Smith medal for Richmond in 1982, the previous 2 grand finals in the Waffle,
he'd won the Simpson medal.
He'd won the Simpson medal so 3 years in a row.
That's right.
He basically won 3 best on grounds in 3 finals, grand finals.
Absolutely stepped up, and I'll sort of elaborate a bit more in my tidbits this week. It'll be all about Maurice, but his performance in that 82 grand final. I mean, Carlton got the jump on us, kicked the first 3 goals, and then he dragged us back into that grand final.
In the second quarter?
No, in the first quarter. He ended up with 3 goals to go, but 2 of his 3 goals he kicked in that first quarter to sort of get us back into the contest, and he was great throughout and became the first player in a losing grand final team to get the Norm Smith medal.
It was great to see a lot of his family there last night. Cyril was there. Daniel wasn't there. I think he's gone back up home.
I thought Daniel was there.
No, Daniel wasn't there. Cyril was there, but
I thought his son spoke really well too.
He did, Gavin.
And
Dean Rioli got up. You're going to talk a bit more about him.
I will talk about him later, but also just while you're on, I mean, obviously you were there because you were inducted 2 years ago, so you get to go now every year. I mean, what's it like? It's
a fantastic night.
Pure footy.
It's a real footy night. You can go to like the Brownlow, and there's a lot of sponsors and people there.
Celebrity stuff,
And this is just a footy crowd, all of the previous nominees and their family and their guests on the night. And you look around the room and it's just ridiculous. Barry Cable, I've never met Barry Cable. He came over. He came over to our table and introduced himself and had a chat. But all those big names floating around the room. You feel a little bit stupid being in the room with them, but it's a great night.
No, that's great. And
there's another connection.
We should mention that.
Verdon Howe, who I remember down in Tassie,
Yeah.
the people always spoke about him in Tassie. Brownlow medalist, 1959.
Yep.
Played for St Kilda, obviously, team of the century. But he then came to Richmond as a premiership coach here.
Yeah, he coached the reserves to a 1971 premiership, and he actually filled in for one game in the seniors when Tommy was coaching Victorian state team.
Yeah.
So he had one game as a senior coach too, but very, very well-respected person around Tigerland too.
Yeah.
So obviously we congratulate him.
We do.
Too. And there's another
There's
connection.
one more connection that I noticed. When Nigel Lappin, did you hear that, JB?
He spoke really well too, Nigel
He was
Lappin.
great, Nigel Lappin. You won't meet a better bloke in football than him, but when he got up, he made a point of saying he was a mad Richmond supporter,
Yeah,
Nigel.
yeah, wore number 12 on his back too. There you go.
No, he didn't. He started the same time as me. 1 year later, 1994.
So we congratulate all
All
those
of
that
them.
were inducted. Paul
Yeah.
Bagshaw was a great player for Sturt.
And Ben Hart, I
Yep.
played on
Yep.
Ben Hart. He was unbelievable.
And Ray Sorrell
Ray Sorrell
was a legend in West Australian
Waffle.
football too, yeah.
Grandfather of a couple of players at the moment, the Marsh boys.
The Marsh
Yeah, that's
boys.
right. That's right.
They were there last night supporting their granddad, so
Yep.
that was great. But JB, you noticed something else last night before the event started.
Well, just trolling through hashtag Talking Tigers. It wasn't myself. It was actually Clint at Chocker3.
Right.
Picked up on. I saw it too because I was watching.
Geez, I saw it. You couldn't miss it.
It was a bit hard not to see it. Sandy Roberts doing his live cross to start.
So straight off, wasn't
Straight
it?
off
Straight
the
off
top.
the bat at Fox Footy.
Yep.
What happened?
There's Sandy. Who should you see in the background? None
Front
other
and
than
square.
our man, the Chief,
What, in frame?
in frame.
So
In
Sandy
front.
Roberts...
He was front and square. The first
There's a
person you...
picture
In fact, it was
we got
quite
there.
distracting. It was...
He's actually looking at the camera.
Looking down the barrel.
Oh, come on,
It was
Chief.
quite distracting because you want to just focus on what Sandy was saying,
Yeah.
but all you could see was, you know,
So he would have known
the
he was
Chief in
in
the
frame
background.
there, Brendan?
Oh, of course he did. He had a few furtive glances up at the camera. Of course you knew he was on frame.
He's extraordinary at the moment,
it's
isn't he?
just a staggering.
So
thing.
he was looking for a bit more FaceTime.
Yeah, a
Is
little
that what
bit
we're
more.
saying?
Yeah,
a little bit more.
He's had a big week.
Yeah.
the Chief.
He was proud. He had, in his defence, he did have all the Rioli family there with
Yeah.
him, so
Yep.
he was
No,
he
he was
was
very
hovering
proud.
around the camera though, wasn't he? Hey, the Freeze MND, I do
Yeah.
want to give it a mention.
Yeah.
Because,
How much was raised on the day?
Well, they raised over nearly $2.5 million.
It's magnificent.
A lot of that was the
Unbelievable.
beanies. People
Yeah.
really supported the beanies this year and bought the blue beanie. So
Yeah.
$2.5 million, and then the government matched that cent for cent.
Brilliant.
So Neil's raised close to $5 million with Freeze MND too, and
outstanding.
it was a great event to be involved in. It was cold.
I've got to say, you did go to a bit of trouble. You put the tiger face paint, looked brilliant, and the tiger onesie. You did. Full credit to you. You know, you
Well,
look
you
like
got-
a
if you're
flog,
gonna
but
do
no,
it, yeah, I look like a flog.
no, it was awesome.
You got to have a crack.
How cold was it?
It was colder than I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shrinkage.
Uh,
No, it's
yes,
yeah.
Tone,
Well,
yes.
who else did you think? Ling. I thought Lingy was.
Lingy was
outstanding.
magnificent. Ronald McDonald.
He had the wig with him. He said, "I don't need this."
Of
Threw
course.
the wig away.
Sheeds as well.
Sheeds
right
is,
up his alley.
That's right. He was Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell.
You've got to give Sheeds credit. I mean, he's
Oh.
close to 70 going
Yep.
down the slide into that cold water.
Yeah.
The other good one was Dave Hughes, Bruce Dill,
Yeah,
the flying doormat.
with
He had
his
the doormat.
with
and
the
everything
doormat.
with him.
Yeah. No, it was great.
So
really
yeah, we hope that they can raise a heap of dough again next year. So
Yeah.
I was rapt to be involved in that. It was good fun.
That's great. We've got the quiz, haven't we?
Yeah.
Hopefully, look, hopefully a little bit easier this week. Should be.
I'd like someone to ring up this week.
Yeah.
Does anyone listen anymore?
Of course they listen.
They do.
They do?
Listening all around the world.
Are they?
It's a bit hard to
Well,
ring
we'll
up.
wait for the emails and tweets.
Yeah.
What do you got
Um,
for us, Tone?
Well, it revolves around Dustin Martin, who is in
Oh.
piping hot form.
How
It's fair to
good's
say at the
Dustin
minute,
going?
just at the minute. I want to know
Yeah.
the original Guernsey number that Dusty wore in his first season at Richmond.
2010.
2010, what Guernsey number did he wear for the Tigers?
Well, someone should know
Should
that.
know that.
Should know.
So give us a call, 9426 4423. What was Dusty's original number in 2010? And you'll get yourself a TTT.
Very nice.
Maybe someone could go down to the slide in the TTT next year would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, KB might go down next year.
Good.
That was your nomination, wasn't it?
No, I had another nomination, but
No,
yeah.
well, we won't go there.
You put the call out last week to know whether people were listening. And
Yes.
well, they came through with the tweets during the week.
Did they?
Right.
Good.
They sure did, using hashtag Talking Tigers. just the two initials here, ZP.
Yeah.
This was directed at you, Richo. Your Black Booker is looking good at the halfway mark, and that was during the game.
Now let's just
not get carried away now. Come on.
Okay, I will go into that later on.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm in rare nick.
I've tapered off a little.
I'm in rare nick.
I keep picking the right ones lately, but they're just letting me down.
So, okay.
It's not really my fault, you know.
Senyuing Jing, I hope I said that correctly. Lee has tweeted in, it's good to see the return of the Conker Cuddle last week. We'll get to that in the match replay.
Our man AC would be wrapped
absolutely.
with
He just seems to get to the hug after nearly every goal.
He does, doesn't he?
Yep. It's almost like he's planned that.
Loves a good hug.
Tig Tags has written in, D. Martin, what more needs to be said, really? He's an absolute superstar.
He has gone to another level, our man.
Are we talking about him now, or...
Dusty? No, we'll do it.
We'll get to it. We'll do it probably in the votes and whatnot.
Do you want to hold on that next one?
Absolutely.
Because we do have... we've got Clint on the line from down Crib Point Way. How are you, Clint?
Yeah, g'day boys, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Very
mate.
good.
What's the weather like down at Crib Point, mate, today?
Pretty sunny, so it's not too bad.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Well, Clint, you've got the answer to the quiz. I think the phone's going berserk here.
What was Dusty's original Guernsey number at Tigerland, mate?
36, I think.
Very good. Very good.
Well done. Quiz. Well done, Clint. What'd you make of the game on the weekend?
Yeah, pretty good. I missed the second half because I had to work. So, but yeah, just happy to keep getting the 4 points.
Good work, mate.
That's it.
Yeah.
Send JB an email, mate. talkingtigers@richmondfc.com.au.
No worries, thanks, boys.
With your address, and we'll get that out to you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Clint.
Great
Cheers,
work,
brother.
Clint.
Thanks for listening.
See you, mate.
A lot of tweets come through here for you, Richo, from Jess Benson, Lynn, and the Tail, our regular listeners, just congratulating you on going down the slide.
Thanks, guys.
Dave Millett picked up some points out of the game, just on Jaden Short, Hammer, and Reece Conker as well. So Shorty and Hammer playing their role last week.
There was some really good signs from Shorty,
He looked good, didn't he?
Yeah, my word, he did.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He could be our answer to Caleb Daniel.
Oh, yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah, right.
Caleb Daniels going pretty well.
He's going real well, but I think Shorty's got plenty of ability.
Yeah.
You know how we like our international listeners.
Yes, we do.
Well, we've ticked off every corner of the globe, I reckon.
I reckon there's one we haven't. I reckon there's one.
Where's that?
I reckon Portugal. Have we had anyone from Portugal yet?
Well, we have, actually.
Oh, what about that?
19 hours ago. What a guess.
Really?
Yeah. Who is it?
Amy Shaw.
Really?
Going to be listening to the podcast this week in Lisbon, Portugal.
Lisbon, yeah.
G'day, Amy.
Well,
How are you, Amy?
That sounds delightful because they probably wouldn't be too celebratory over there at the moment.
They get rolled.
They had a draw last night with Iceland.
I'll tell you what.
And when you got the number one player in the world in your team, it's probably unexpected.
I'll tell you what, Lisbon is a good city.
Is it?
Amy would be having a lot of fun in Lisbon. It's fair to say it goes off at night, Lisbon, one little old cobblestone area.
Is that right?
It pumps on the weekend.
Well, add that to the itinerary.
I'm sure Amy's probably been there, and if not, you've given her a clue.
Lisbon is a very, very good town to have a good time in.
Yeah, nice. Mick G's written in a fun tidbit for our upcoming game in round 14 against Brisbane. It'll be the first time this year that we've used the red ball.
Is that right?
Yeah. Well, apparently, Mick G's gone with that.
The red ball.
We haven't played a game with the red ball this year. We've had a lot of night games.
We've only played 2 day games. One was under the roof at Etihad against Adelaide, and one was last week.
Oh, he's probably right then.
Where the 3:20 starts go under lights.
Finishing it in the day. Yeah,
very
good point. Yeah.
Any emails this week?
A couple of emails have come through.
You've got mail.
First one from Adrian Leach. Another one directed at you, Richo, but it's got a personal touch. Just to say how proud his family is about you going down the slide to raise money for MND. Saying that he's lost his mother about 5 years ago to such an experience and how horrible it is. And it's great to see you and especially Neil getting everyone together, and the way he's pushing it. The cause is inspirational. And Adrian said he knew you were a bit crook last week, so to go through with it was outstanding.
Thanks, Adrian. But Neil's the man, isn't he? He's
an inspiration, no doubt.
Brad Houston has written in he wrote in with a lot of points out of the game, but I'll get your thoughts on this one. Greeners, I know you touched on this last week, but with Dusty in such amazing form, everyone's putting their focus on him. Another guy who's gone a little bit under the radar is Sean Grigg, who was another who had an outstanding game.
Oh, I noticed
last weekend.
He featured in the coaches' votes again.
Is he having his best year at Richmond? I think he is by a mile, isn't he?
He did have a year, I think it was 2012, I think he got he might have got 10 or 12 votes in the Brownlow.
He's been consistent.
He's been
the
very,
whole time
very
he's
good.
been here, but I think this year's his best year.
His work rate is, excellent, and he deserves all the plaudits.
Yeah,
no doubt.
He does.
And Brad's gone out on a limb with the yellow and black book special, which we like. He reckons that Dusty will be our next Brownlow medalist.
Well, see, I
You're
was going to
big
wait
on
for
this.
I was going to wait for this, but I'm going to go with this now. I'm going to go with it now.
Wow.
Righto.
There is every chance that by the end of this year, we will have 2 Brownlow medalists on our list, our playing list.
Koch.
Well, Koch is obviously a fair chance, If
I don't think Joe Watson should lose it. But
No, I don't either necessarily, but, if
and you're saying Dustin will win this year?
I think he's a massive chance.
Well, he was my pre-season tip as well.
Okay, well, he got 21 votes last year. Okay, I reckon he's got a dozen minimum already.
Yeah.
No.
Not
Now,
an
hopefully
outrageous
we
call.
win a few more games, and
Yep.
he just polls well, doesn't backchat umpires, very noticeable.
Yeah.
I think he's a huge chance. And I reckon that this year, we got 21 last year. 21 might almost win it this year. 25 certainly
Yep.
you're right in it.
There's a bloke called Dangerfield, though.
It's going to be very even because you got Dangerfield, Sloane, Hanbury.
Yeah.
Those guys are
Well, you can
playing
have a
well,
four-
but
So
Dustin
you
is
can have a four-way
right
tie.
up there.
You can have a
Selwood's-
4 or 5-way tie. You still win
Selwood's
it.
going to take a few off Danger too, a few of the threes.
Yeah,
So,
I just think he's a huge chance.
Yeah, no, good
Anyway,
call. Good
hopefully,
call.
he just finishes the season strongly. Yeah.
Anyway, so
I've got. There's one other player I'd look out for, and this is one from a bit left field.
Yeah.
We might have a back pocket winner Brownlow. Heath Shaw.
Yeah, that's.
He's had 4 or 5 best on grounds.
Oh, he has too.
Anyway.
Yeah. That wouldn't sit well with Collingwood supporters at the minute, would it?
Oh, that'd be filthy.
Would not sit well with them.
That'd be filthy.
Yeah.
So that.
So, boys, I don't know if you've heard, but there was an incident up on Bridge Road last week.
Yeah, it was in the local paper. I
It's
think.
been, it's just been circling around Richmond. A person walked into a cafe on Bridge Road and stole the tip jar from that cafe.
Is that right?
Yeah,
It's a pretty low act.
yeah,
Pretty-
it is
very low.
very low act.
Yeah.
But they were foiled.
Foiled.
They were foiled by basically a superhero.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
appeared out of nowhere
Is that right?
and foiled the crime.
Oh, this
Now
is incredible.
we're not sure who it is.
This is extraordinary.
So I went up to Bridge Road late last week
Yeah.
and just did some investigating.
Right. What did you do
I
uncover?
bumped into an eyewitness.
Jeez.
So I'm just going to throw to this grab. I had a
Okay.
quick chat to this eyewitness.
Fascinating.
Well, I'm here with Matt from Richmond, who was an eyewitness to this heroic deed last week. Matt, can you tell me what you saw?
Well, I was just having lunch, and then I saw the robber run past me, and as quick as a flash, a large man wearing Richmond underwear over his slacks ran past me, took the robber out.
Right. Did any other features that you noticed, how he looked?
He was moving pretty fast, but I definitely noticed he had a perm.
He had a perm.
He had a perm,
That's quite unusual in this day and
yeah.
age.
And he was also lugging around a 15th century yak leather chair behind him.
Right. Well, I think I know who this is. Matt, thanks for your time.
No worries.
Oh, this
Well,
is extraordinary.
What a scoop.
Tone,
Oh, I'm gobsmacked.
there can't be too many 15th century yak leather chairs floating around.
They're very unique. It's very unique.
So is this Matt
and
saying...
there's not many. There's even less perms.
Actually, perms are rarer than yak leather chairs.
Yes,
15th century yak leather.
They are.
So that can mean only one thing.
Only one person. The
Our-
man that was front and square at the
Our-
Fox Footy coverage of the Hall of Fame.
Our
last
man, the
night.
chief, has become a superhero foiling crime in the streets of Richmond.
with his underpants
Yeah.
outside, on the
So-
outside of his trousers.
So just put him along with these names. Now, he goes into this sort of territory. Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent, Sherlock Holmes, Jack Reacher, James Bond, Dick Tracy, Maxwell Smart, Inspector Clouseau, Lou Archer, and Inspector Morse. You can now add an 11th name to that list as a crime fighter in this area of Richmond in the Chief Brendan Gale.
Well, you know what the next thing will be?
What?
He'll be getting a phone booth built
Oh, he will.
outside the front.
It'll have to be
of
a
the
big
club
booth
rooms
though
there.
to get the chair in
Yeah,
there with it. So, boys, there you go. That's Chief Watch for this week.
Oh.
He's foiled a crime, the Chief. So, well done, big boy. You're a superhero.
It just gets better.
Oh, it does.
You're on a high after Chief Watch like that, but there's no letdown.
We can't
It
go
actually
high.
goes to another level.
I know that Matt bloke from somewhere too.
Yeah, he did sound familiar. Yeah. Come on, mate. What have you got? Because
I'm just listening to it because it is
pretty
Have you
good.
got any news?
Can we keep listening to it for a bit longer?
Is there any news or not?
Nah, it's the bye week. So
I mean, just play the sting, Scott.
Just play the sting.
No, you must have something.
Nah, look, I do.
Surely.
It's like Sunday Ava Revolver in here at the moment, isn't it?
Maybe this week, but today the AFL announced the licences for the National Women's League, and Richmond put in a tender for it along with 12 other clubs, and they announced it down to the final 8, and unfortunately Richmond didn't get one out of the 4 Victorian clubs, which went to Melbourne, Western Bulldogs.
I think we knew
Collingwood,
Melbourne and the Dogs
Carlton.
would get one, didn't we?
So I guess the two that were up for grabs went to Collingwood and Carlton. So the club's pretty disappointed with that decision, but it doesn't.
There's opportunities.
It doesn't change the direction that the club's going in that way, and I think
might be a blessing in disguise.
If you can sit it. Well, we'll have to sit it out for next year in 2017, but observe, see what happens, and
if it goes
hopefully,
well, they'll probably grant a few more licences.
Yeah, exactly right. So the club's still committed to go down that path, and if they sit on the sidelines this year and learn from the other teams doing it, then it can only be for the best. And round 14 next Saturday against Brisbane at the MCG, 1:40 p.m. kickoff. Make sure you get to the G for round 14. The club will be giving away a winter warmer holiday valued at $3,000 to one lucky person in the crowd.
Well,
where to?
What that is,
that won't be Ocean Grove. I can assure you that.
Well, given we played Gold Coast last week in the middle of winter, we're playing Brisbane. Maybe somewhere north of the border.
So maybe you could coincide your trip with our OB that we're going to have later in the year.
We're going to Rio.
Well, it's winter.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I shouldn't have.
Sorry. So
just forget that.
The final details of that competition, I'm not too sure, but watch out for the website over the next few days.
No, that's good. Bobby Palm Cove, good place, Palm Cove.
Yeah, right.
Port Douglas.
Well, Noosa, anywhere. Somewhere with a bit of warmth would be good.
Any medical room stuff this week?
Oh, look, not much because the footy department is not here for the first couple of days of this week. But I guess going into the Brisbane game, the only concern would be Dave Asprey with the ankle, so that'll just be tested next week.
Bring it on, 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 bring it on.
Well, a sting like that can only mean one thing, and it's time for the VFL report. And on the line today, because we're a day late with Talking Tigers, is the one and only Brenton Manfred Mann. How are you, Brenton?
I'm good, Richard. How are you?
What do you think of your sting today, mate? Booty call by the All Saints.
It's really getting good. It's getting better by the week.
Obviously, you're on the line, mate, so we thought booty call was...
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that song, but I did see the clip yesterday.
Yeah, that's the All Saints.
Bit of a rap for the clip, I must
The
admit.
Appleton sisters, and one of them was married to Liam Gallagher from Oasis. So there's a bit of music trivia for you, mate. What did you make of the VFL, Brenton?
It was a great return to form for the boys after a disappointing loss to Coburg, obviously a week prior, and a 31-point win over a classy side in Werribee was a fantastic return to form.
Now, just can we have a few of the Richmond listed players? How did they perform?
Andrew Moore played his best game for the club. He was the Caden player of the day.
Okay.
He had 34 disposals, 19 contested possessions, took 8 marks, 6 clearances, and Fly was extremely happy with his ability to play above level. So, yeah, he said it was his best game for the club, and hopefully he'll build on that in the coming weeks.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Who else?
Georgie Castagna.
Yep.
Was returned down back, and was his run and carry and his ability to make things out of nothing was evident on the day. He was fantastic. Yeah, 31 touches, 19 handball receives. Really was a team high and a great return to form for him off the halfback flank.
So used the ball okay too?
Yes, he did use the ball.
Oh, that's good.
It was it was quite an even performance. No one really stood out, but everyone played their role, which was what Fly was after before the game, and the players emulated that on the day. 31
points was the final margin, but it seemed to really go right down to the wire there in the last quarter. What was the difference between the two sides?
Well, in the end, the difference between the two sides was Ryan Baffy, who kicked 3 final term majors. It was when Werribee was really coming. They kicked back-to-back goals to start the final term, And then Bassey kicked back-to-back goals to answer, and then he finished with his third, and which was the sealer, which was it was great for him. He returned to the side, and in a rejig forward line really worked and gelled well.
Hey, Brenton, what about some of the taller players, Rioli and Liam McBean?
Rioli was good down back again. He's developing every week in that role, and I think that's probably going to be his spot. I think he's going to play as that tall defender, but he provides a lot of run and rebound off that half-back flank as well. McBean was good without being, everyone played their role, so he did his job without being absolutely fantastic. Ivan was good in the last quarter with his leadership. He had 28 hit-outs and 4 clearances again, which is another solid effort for him. So, that was some of the tall players that really stood out.
Just back on Rioli, because I've got a fascination with him at the moment. How's he go in the one-on-one contest with his body size? Does he hold his own there?
He does hold his own, but what he does do, he plays to his strength, so he doesn't get in the wrestles, but what he does is he comes from behind and actually uses his jump and his leap to spoil, which is fantastic. Obviously, when he puts on a bit more body size, he'll be able to match it in those one-on-one contests, but he doesn't get in the wrestles because that's not his go. So he's plays to his strength and knows his limitations.
A couple of the other young players, Oleg Markov and Callum Moore, how did they go?
They were both quiet, I'd say, on their usual output. They both show glimpses. Callum Moore's marking is a standout. That's an AFL elite standard, I think. His hands are just fantastic, and the way he jumps at the footy. Markov was good with his pressure and his tackling. His disposal count was a bit down, but he contributed on the day. What about
some of the VFL listed players that's really stood out?
Sam Daly was fantastic with his leadership and use of the ball off half back. Tommy Silvestro, the uni blue from the VAFA, was good with his pressure. Kicked 2 goals and 16 disposals. Jake Arch was another one who popped up and returned to the side. Did a job on Sherlock, where he's really good rebounding, running defender. Nullified him for the day. Kicked a goal, and his pressure and tenacity inside 450 was fantastic.
Brenton, what's go with VFL this week? Do they have a bye as well?
Yeah, the VFL has a bye. So it's a club bye. So the 26th of June on Sunday, we're back at Victoria Park to face Collingwood at 2:10.
What about you, mate? Do you duck away for the long weekend?
I'd like to, but there's no rest for the wicked, Richard. I've got
a couple of VAFA gigs this week, no doubt.
I've got actually a South East Football Netball League gig that I've got to go to.
You'll paint the town beige there.
Mate, Brenton, you're going to need a website the way you're going.
I just really promote myself through Talking Tigers, I think.
Mate, spot on as usual.
Very good,
Thanks
mate.
very much.
Thank you very much, boys.
Chat to you next week.
Mate.
Now, Tone, if you're still living at home where Mum barracks for Carlton and Dad thinks you're born to mow the lawn...
She wouldn't be my mum if she barracked for Carlton.
I think it's time you found your own place. In fact, you should move out on your own.
It's not a bad idea.
You don't like human beings.
It's not a bad idea at all.
Save $27 a day and you can do it. Our valued sponsor, Caden, can kickstart you into your new apartment with $15,000 towards your deposit.
15,000?
15 large, Tone.
Wow.
This is all up front. They don't load the money into the price and there are terms and conditions, but no catches or hitches. Caden.com.au/kickstart will give you all the ins and outs, Tone.
I need a good kickstart.
Now, boys, there's some late breaking news.
What?
Oh, there is.
Oh, look forward to this. This is like all our Christmases have come at once. To hear that sting twice.
We can't have 2 in one show. Club
this
news.
is
It better be big.
late breaking.
It better be big.
Walter Cronkite style. Just received an email from Daniel Hull, VFL Football Operations Manager, on the back of what we just went with Manfred.
Yeah.
The
He's
VFL...
not happy about Manfred's appraisal of a couple of players? Or?
No. Very happy with that.
Okay.
The VFL match against Collingwood next weekend, which we said was at Vic Park, has now been moved to the Collingwood's facility at Olympic Park, which is under the guise of an opposition sponsor centre that we won't say.
So it's down in opposite the tennis centre there.
That's right. Yeah. Still at 2:10 p.m. and broadcast on Channel 7.
Is that right?
That's it.
Oh, wow.
That's massive. You think we get a chance to get the sting for a third time?
No, I couldn't handle it a third time.
Fair enough.
So what we make of the game on Sunday, boys?
It was
an up and down, up and down sort of game.
It was a real struggle, wasn't it? I mean, they did have a better side in.
That's the thing. They got a gun forward Tommy Lynch, probably the second best forward in the comp behind Franklin.
Probably would have kicked 8 if anyone but Rancy had been on.
You've got Gary Ablett, you've got Presti, you've got Riscatelli running through the middle.
Yeah, no, true. May.
You've got May back in defence, Thompson back. Well, they've got their nucleus of their team back. There's hardly anyone injured. So I reckon some people maybe underrated our win a little bit.
Yeah. Obviously, the importance of to be able to come from 15 points down midway through the last quarter, kick 6 of the last 7 goals, and have a 3-goal win is a good sign.
I know when Rosa dribbled that goal through at the start of the last quarter, it wasn't looking too good. But to kick 8 last quarter goals when the game was on the line was a positive to take out of it. And it was one of those games that you just had to strap yourself in and be in front when the final siren went. So it was good to get out of it with the win.
I'll tell you one person I wouldn't have wanted to be in that last 15 minutes.
Who?
Trent McKenzie.
Oh, yeah.
He would have been nervous, wouldn't he?
Oh, one-on-one with Dusty. I mean, it's a nightmare, isn't it?
It's a great weapon to have, being able to throw him forward. And I heard the boys on Talking Footy talking about, would you have Sloane or Martin on Monday night on Talking Footy?
Yeah.
I love Rory Sloane, but I think you've got to go Martin because he can go inside goals. 50 and do that.
Imagine if you had 2 of him.
Oh,
Imagine if you could clone him.
He's in rare nick, isn't he?
Jeez, and have him up forward and, actually have 3 of him. One down back would be handy too.
The skipper was pretty good as well.
Well, considering also that the skipper had been in hospital on the Monday night with a kidney infection or some infection. And
Bergasms has picked that up.
Is that right?
Hashtag Talking Tigers. Just seeing if we had any more details on Koch being in hospital, but it was with the virus.
Some virus.
I think he had it.
He might have what we had, Richo.
Yeah.
So you can understand that's a gutsy effort if he was as crook as what we were.
In the last quarter when the game was on the line, didn't he really rise to the occasion?
Thought he was just terrific, and he's been in really good form.
Yeah, he has. I think Dimmer made some good points about that after the game.
Yep.
His leadership and his form this year after being questioned early.
Yeah,
We've been through all that before, haven't we?
You know what I really liked as well, and I wasn't able to squeeze him in my votes.
We'll do his votes now then.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I gave 3 to Dusty, of course. It's a no-brainer. Also, he has moved into 6th place on the coaches' votes as well. So he's just rocketed up to 6th.
Who's leading that, Dangerfield?
Just from Hanbury.
Hanbury as well.
Okay. 2 to Koch for all the reasons that we spoke about.
Yeah.
He was very inspirational, great captain's game. I gave 1 to... is he still 2-2's own? Because we haven't actually had him on for...
He hasn't been on for a while.
No, but anyway, 2-2, we'll claim him still. Brett Delidio.
He's definitely TT's own.
Just the class that he offers. 3 goals, more than 20 disposals. He's just the class. And also, so I want to give an apology here.
Who too?
I thought Dylan Grimes was outstanding. I think he had 23 disposals, 12 intercepts. He's just, and he was obviously very, very late withdrawal from the Tassie game. I think he bounced back really well. So not only is he defending well, but he's actually offering some run out of the back line too.
Oh,
and
he's
a
very
good deal
good
of
player.
run. So, yeah.
Pretty underrated. And I think
very composed.
When he went out in the first quarter of the Collingwood game, missed the North Melbourne game, I think he might be undefeated.
You're right.
This season.
Unbeaten when he's been in the side, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah. I think that's right.
So very underrated Dylan Grimes. I'll go with my votes as well. 3 votes. I could only give 3 votes to Dustin Martin. Would like to give him a few more for an outstanding performance. Probably one of the better ones I've seen over the last few years.
Hey, what about that handball to Koch?
Yeah.
That was vision. That was Diesel Williams like.
It was about 30 metres.
It was a good finish by Koch too because he had pressure coming at him.
Yeah,
Sorry.
No, it's fine. But one of the other things I love was his run down the wing. 100-metre run, he just converted the goal.
Yeah, awesome.
Then in front of the members' stand, when the ball was up for grabs, he laid the bump, dove down, gave it to Sammy Lloyd, I think. So, outstanding game. 2 votes I gave to Trent Cotchin for reasons mentioned before. When the game was on the line, he just stood up. 1 vote as well, similar to you, Greeners. I gave to TT's own Brett Delidio for 3 goals and the touches he had and the influence.
He's averaging more than 20 disposals and a goal a game in the 7 games he's played this year, which is our elite
not
numbers.
Many players do that.
No, they're elite numbers. Yeah.
So he's going well again, Brett. We just need him out there every week, don't we? Missed the start of the year again.
Yeah, let's not have all this talk of him being traded, which is just
nonsense,
absurd.
I've gone with you guys. 3 to Martin, 2 to Cotchin. I don't need to go over it anymore. Outstanding games. I give Brett an apology. And
he'll be filthy on
I know he'll be flat with me. Filthy. Sorry, Bretty. I gave Shane Edwards.
Yeah, no, very good.
Yep.
I thought he was 3 goals, 20 touches.
That
big
first
last quarter.
Where he roved to Jack Spoil.
Yeah.
So I thought he was crucial in that last bit as well. So
fair enough.
I gave Edwards a vote. So Dusty's scooted away a little bit now. He's on 52. Koch is on 40. Rancey's third on 22. Griggy fourth, and Jack fifth on 17. Top 5 there.
Your head gets any bigger.
Now, boys.
If your head gets any bigger, there'll be no headphones on earth that could fit
I'm
on
not
your
the sort of
box.
bloke who likes to talk about himself.
Much.
No, I'm not. I'm a modest sort of a guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I can't ignore what's going on with my yellow and blackers at the moment. How good am I going?
Well, I've rubbed off on you, so to speak.
How good am I going? I'm just going to get scones to play something from last week again. So I'm back in form. So this week,
Yes.
I am saying Dustin Martin will have 30 plus disposals.
Back on him.
Back on Dustin.
You're not going for any goals?
No. 'Cause
Multiple goals?
No, he's playing more mid. So I'm saying he'll have 30 possessions and at least 15 contested as well. I'm going to add another layer. 2 layers on it.
2 layers. Double layer.
A layer cake.
That's layer upon layer.
That's a layer cake.
Yeah, layer cake. Righto. No, you see, if you were gutsy,
boys.
you would have gone with multiple goals because he
Because he
kicked
did.
multiple
Yeah,
goals.
would've
So,
been the
boys,
trifecta.
sorry about my form here. I've nailed it again. So I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go another layer this week.
Ooh.
All right.
For
I'm
the,
going.
the Brisbane game too.
Yeah, Brisbane.
Well,
game.
which is in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Or do you want to do a yellow and blacker for the weekend
For the
off?
bye.
Oh, yeah.
Manfred.
Oh, Manfred. We're all on Manfred.
I'm tipping Manfred to have an almighty weekend. No,
What
sorry.
did the netball do?
At the Netball Association Awards. No.
What?
I'm saying.
He is born to be mild.
I'm saying that against Brisbane, Alex Rance will have at least 12 plus intercept possessions.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. How many intercept marks?
12
Included.
plus intercept possessions.
Possessions,
Tony.
okay.
Don't try and change my idea.
All right. I thought you might have wanted to put another layer on it.
No, that's what I'm doing. 12 plus for Rance, intercept
Okay.
possessions.
Very good.
Last week for the Gold Coast game, I went Reece Conker on his return.
Oh, well done.
I thought he was.
And AC was very happy with that.
Yeah,
too.
he might have even put me up to it.
He's on top of the world at the
He
moment.
couldn't be happier. Italy won 2-0
Yeah.
against Belgium.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, got some free marinated artichokes too.
So I thought Reece was very good in his first game back.
His last quarter was good.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
12 in the last quarter.
playing on one of the game's
Gaz,
greats in Gary Ablett Jr. So what a...
So are you giving yourself a tick for that one?
I'm not going to go...
Yeah,
I'm
why
not going
didn't
to
you
throw to some
you
audio.
should have. Why didn't you?
Humble.
Big-headed buffhead here did.
Next week against Brisbane,
Who are you going?
I've liked very much what I saw on the weekend
Yeah.
of Ben Griffiths without
Yeah, we
tearing the
did-
game apart.
We haven't mentioned Griff. He was good.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was good.
Geez, that mark was good.
Very good.
And his kicking was very good.
And I guess with another week off, that because you forget the week before he got stretchered off against North Melbourne with the
Yeah,
ankle
no,
injury.
that's
So
right.
another week off, I reckon against Brisbane, Griff is ready to fire. And I'm
Yeah.
going to go with a layer of my own.
Wow.
I reckon he'll go with a goal in each quarter.
Ooh. Yeah, okay.
4
Like that.
goals then.
4 goals.
At
At
least.
least 4.
Yeah.
A goal a quarter, that's going to be tough, I reckon.
Is it?
That's hard,
Reckon?
that.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard.
Yeah, okay. You would have done it a few times.
Oh, well.
All right, now I was stiff. It's fair to say. Sammy Lloyd probably let me down a little bit, to be honest.
Don't fight
Really?
Sam.
Nah, well, I think it was a good choice, but he did let me down.
What?
Well, he should have kicked that last goal, right?
Sam, he
he was
kicked 2.
counting down the clock.
He
He
kicked
was
2.
more interested in that. Well, he would have had 3 if he'd kicked that, which he should have.
But you said 4.
Nah,
he
there was
gonna
another one there that he certainly could have got earlier on. So
You said
I was
he
a little
kicked
bit
4
unlucky.
goals.
But I'm going to back up. I'm going to go with him again in the
That's
Brisbane
what I
game.
did earlier in the year.
Yeah, I know. And we're no good.
No, you
No, I'm
shouldn't do
going
this.
with Sammy again to kick a career high goal. So that means more than 3 in the AFL.
All right.
AFL, all right?
Good on you.
Well, as we mentioned before, the tidbits today all revolve around the great
So
Morris
they
Rioli,
should.
who
So they
entered
should.
the Australian Football Hall of Fame last night. So, Morris's debut for Richmond was in the opening round of the 1982 season, but interestingly, we're actually scheduled to play Fitzroy at Waverley in round 2, but the VFL, as it was known back then, in its wisdom, decided to bring the game forward to open the season on its own a week earlier. Which
Oh,
was,
is that right?
Yeah. So we played Fitzroy out at Waverley, and Morris, it's fair to say, was fairly conspicuous in his debut. Had 24 24 disposals, which was the most in the match.
Yeah.
Our top disposal winner.
His games weren't as high possession.
No, 24, and he was just brilliant. And your good mate BT, playing full
big
forward,
bristler,
kicked 8 that day, and it's fair to say that he was on the end of quite a few Morris Rioli passes that day.
BT speaks very highly of Morris. He rates him
enormously. Well, he should, because Morris fed him.
Yeah.
You know?
No, he said that. He said that many a times.
Yeah, so it was just it was a great debut, and just the excitement amongst the Tiger Army watching Morris and the impact he had straight off was fantastic. So, and of course he went on and won the best and fairest that year, and then in 1983. So back-to-back best and fairest in your first 2 years at the club. It's a pretty fair effort. And then in 83. He was runner-up in the Brownlow. Ross Glendinning, of course, North Melbourne champion. He won with 24 votes. Morris was only 1 vote away. 23 votes in 83 to finish runner-up.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Runner-up.
Should have known that.
You should have.
Should have, yeah.
He wore number 17, of course, in his first 4 seasons, but in his last 2 seasons, not many people realise this, he actually wore number 27 in his last 2 years.
Why did he change?
Well, I think actually what happened, I'm not sure if you remember at the time, but Doc Edelson had taken over control of Sydney.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he was trying to get Morris to Sydney.
He was, yeah.
And there was talk that Morris was going to go.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I think maybe his number in the meantime might have gone to another player. I vaguely recall this. And then at last minute he decided he wasn't going to go to Sydney, and he played out his career here.
I remember that. I remember the talk about him going to Sydney.
Yeah. Most disposals he had in the game was 37. And that was in the inaugural game of the West Coast Eagles, round 1, 1987 at Subi. We were 33 points up at three-quarter time that game that day and lost, got rolled. They kicked 9 in the last quarter in their first ever game. Morris was outstanding, though, with 37. In his 118 games here, he averaged 21.1 disposals per game. And
probably
that for
about
Morris,
15 tackles as well.
Oh, yeah, and he's just pinpoint disposal. Yeah. Absolutely outstanding. So... there was one other game that I recall him playing that just stands out in the mind. It was round 5, 1985 against Hawthorn, who were playing at Princes Park. That was the home ground. 50 goals in that game. We kicked 29, they kicked 21. Roche kicked 11.
Yes, I was going to say that.
And he was absolutely outstanding, Morris. He got 29 disposals, and he hit Roche up time and again with his passes.
You spoke to Disco yesterday. Oh, you wouldn't have been able to talk about it, though, because it wasn't announced till last night.
No, then I wrote it, and then I wrote the story, though. Yeah.
I was going to ask you if Roche had talked about Morris, but he obviously didn't know at that stage.
Yeah, so. No. Yeah.
Oh, that was good, Tony.
Before we go to the gags, just on Morris and I guess the work he did for the Territorians and putting them on the map, because he was, of course, recruited out of St Mary's. A tweet last night from Andrew McLeod, who's one of the great modern-day players.
Absolutely.
Just saying that Morris's football feats inspired generations of Territorians, so the Hall of Fame is very fitting for him.
Yeah, no, that's so appropriate, because he was a pioneer.
And
you got something there, Richard?
Oh, just our mate Johnny P. He has been tweeting in today, and he's saying we're not taking his calls anymore. No, the phone was ringing for the quiz, but we were talking to the quiz Johnny. So don't be upset. We love you tweeting us in. We love you listening.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, Johnny. You ticked them off or not? Because you're a bit cheeky today. You got that look in your eye.
I think they're all right. If Catwoman, decided to go to Nepal, what would Catman do? I thought it was all right. I cracked it with my wife the other day.
You do
Jenny.
every day?
You know I do, yeah. Well, she told me to stop impersonating a flamingo. I really had to put my foot down.
I love that new Muttley thing.
You know, did you know that you can never lose a homing pigeon? Well, because if your homing pigeon doesn't come back, what you've lost is a pigeon. Did you hear about the bloke who ran through a screen door?
No.
He strained himself. And I'll leave you with this one.
Have you been to doc or not? Because you've been crook.
No, I have been crook, but I haven't been. I've just tried to sort of
We worked through it for once.
Work through it, you know, because you've inspired me.
Yeah, good on you.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I've ever told you this.
What?
But I race snails for a hobby.
It wouldn't surprise me, actually.
But I had one that was just not all that quick, so I took the shell off him. Yeah, thinking it would make him go a bit faster. Yeah, it just made him more sluggish.
I don't know where he gets them from, JB.
There's got to be a book somewhere.
He's got a little
No,
book.
there's a book in it for me, definitely.
Yeah, there is.
One day.
No, we love you, Gags. Tone, thanks for listening today. We congratulate the great Maurice Rioli.
We do.
On his Hall of Fame induction last night. We're not going to be broadcasting next week. We're having a week off, TT.
Yeah. Yep.
So join us in 2 weeks when we'll be talking about Richmond beating the Brisbane Lions. Have a good week. We'll speak and whatever we do next time.